Hey, and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So there's been some updates to the previous server. Dragonflight will be getting improved with regards to its rewards. The Cleric Arbiter will be getting some quality of life updates to increase its damage potential, and the latest dungeon, Lair the Mad Dragon, is also getting some boss updates. Ultimately, all the news comes from the executive producer Brett Norton on Discord, and we can see the changes that are coming to the new dungeon. So there'll be several bug fixes and exploits on bosses. They still know of a few issues here to address, and they haven't gotten to them all yet. Then Charlefax, the third box, have also tweaked him slightly so that he has higher damage and higher health. Not really sure why he needed a health improvement, as the fight already takes longer than I would like, but I guess that's what they're doing. Now moving to Cleric Arbiter, there's some fixes with Daunting Light and the Fate with it. Your light speed, this will properly consume the Radiant pips, allowing you to increase your damage. Additionally, the tooltip's been slightly corrected, and it will now generate action points whenever you cast your Daunting Light with that effect. This will definitely help to improve a little bit in the multi-target damage for Arbiter, along with then Searing Javelin will now properly generate action points even if you don't hit something, as long as of course you're in combat. And then more notably, Divine Equilibrium will now not reduce your damage when you have buffs to increase your divinity over 1,000. Basically it was balanced so that you would gain that 15% damage when you're at 500 divinity, and if you're at 1,000 you'd gain 0, and if you're at like 1,150 you'd gain negative damage, and if you were at 1,400 you'd lose like nearly 7.5% damage. So that's a good fix, and ultimately just some quality of life updates. Nothing substantial, but at least that's some bug fixes. So it's a start. Cleric Arbiter can do very well, but they have super strict rotations and therefore very little flexibility, which means they do suffer in a lot of fights if you're new particularly. But then we go to Dragonflight. We can see all of what they're improving here. So the Dragonflight rings, having some of their stats updated to better match their expected rolls. For example, the Mercenary Dragonflight ring, instead of giving crit avoidance, will give combat advantage. That just means the ring becomes a good bit more useful. The bonus effect is to give combat advantage and power, so it made no sense that the ratings was crit avoidance, as you'd want to use this ring for dealing damage. So now it will be a little bit improved in that regard. Other rings have similar updates, and also then the Dwarven rings have had an increase to their item levels, along with some of their stats and powers updated, and they will now properly appear in the surprise bags, where previously they were displayed in the collections, but you were not able to actually obtain them. And then the regular Dwarven rings has been updated to the Outfitter for purchase, and will mainly to complete the reinforced Dragonflight Gear collection. These rings were previously displayed and also unobtainable. The item level increase are to like these 5 rings here, these 6 rings here. They now have 2,500, which is actually pretty competitive to other rings we have. However, they will still be like new player rings, giving like 7,000 ratings there, outgoing healing. Then this one for defense, for tanks. Then this one giving you extra damage when you're 50 feet or further from your target. To be honest, nobody should use that. And then the other rings with like 1.5% damage when you're 25 feet or closer to your target. I guess you can use it when you're trying to work towards something else, just in case you actually get them here as a super new player. There are other rings with 1,500 item level, some useful effects there, giving some ratings. I think the most useful one is probably this one that gives percentage stats, giving 5% accuracy. But again, 1,500 item level means, yeah, there are definitely better options than it. But yeah, they're not that bad, at least some useful cases there. And that's just some updates. More importantly, though, they have added to the surprise bags a guaranteed amount of rough astral diamonds and dragon parts. You'll always obtain those on top of other rewards. And also with the Dragonflight surprise bag, they've revised it so there are lower odds of providing equipment, but increased odds of providing currencies, consumables, mounts, and companions, meaning they will be a lot better to actually get those rewards rather than just equipment that you probably don't need anymore since you've already ran it enough, and most of the gear here is only stepping stone anyway, not something you'll want to use towards late game, meaning there was no point to run Dragonflight when the rewards were like that. Now, however, they have been improved. You can see the surprise bags here will give you rough astral diamonds, dragon parts, level 20 Dragonflight gear, mounts, and companions. I did go and solo a few of these Dragonflight dragons, getting the kill, completing the quest. You will every day get one quest, which will allow you to get one surprise bag. You need to speak to this NPC here in your stronghold. It will, of course, depend on what stronghold, what guild you're in, and you should be able to get these two quests. This one will be a Dragon Pacific quest. There are 4 different dragons, and this one tells us to defeat Oxunu the Treacherous. I believe that's the green one, or it could be the black one. But this quest gives you the surprise bag, along with some ridges, which is great too. You can accept that one, and then you can also get the general quest, which just gives you more of these fangs, and then these strong boxes, which you can just donate for some guild marks. So every day, that one quest, which tells you to go beat up that Pacific dragon, you'll find it in your journal, you ideally go ahead and do and obtain that surprise bag. And you can do it on every single character as well. You go to that Pacific dragon, like the blue one is Cryos the Vain, so I know I have to come here. The red one is Catatheo the Proud, so you'd go to this one. And then there's a black one and a green one in other areas of the stronghold. Now you can kill them all together. You have like a minute to kill them together before they like flee. You can see you defeat one of the dragons and now the others will prepare to flee. So you have the opportunity to kill them as well if you have different groups split up to kill them all at the same time. That's what you would do as a coordinated group. But if you're just by yourself or with a group of 5 people, you can just kill one of them that is tied to the quest you need. Then switch character and go kill the next one based on the quest you have. But I believe everybody will obtain a different quest. Like we just got this one today, which is to kill the green or black one. I'm not familiar based on their names. But once the Dragonflight is completed, you can hand in those quests claiming the rewards. So one will give you the surprise bag and the other just some more fangs and those strong boxes. And again, that surprise bag is going to give you some guaranteed rewards now. Always dragon parts, an extra reward, and always rough astral diamonds. Now, since you can only refine like 100,000 per day, you could potentially do 5 Dragonflight runs, and you should be able to get your quota of 100,000 per day. That's a very nice activity to do then. Just have 5 characters, have a guild which regularly does Dragonflight, do 5 runs a day, and there you go. You've got your rough AD rather than having to run some random queues. Overall, they've basically increased the incentive to run Dragonflight. It's definitely gotten a lot more valuable to do so with the guaranteed rough AD and dragon parts, particularly for newer players who find it trickier to get that rough AD and it takes a lot of time. You can just do Dragonflight. It takes about 10 minutes to beat up a dragon maximum, and then you've got your rewards. With it, you can get some extra rewards on top, not just rough AD, like scrolls, stones, prez wards, companion mount upgrade tokens, even some other mounts and companions that could be useful. But yeah, they did update the gear a little bit. Not overly impressed. It's still just going to be starter gear. In terms of the campaign Dragon Slayer and getting like mythic gear here, it is very well possible. It's just, it takes a while because you only get like 2 ridges per quest per day. So yeah, you could do it on multiple characters, but it's still going to take you a lot of time before you actually get enough ridges to be able to purchase what you want here. You need 60, so that would be like 30 runs, and then you can only buy certain gear because otherwise you're just locked out based on the Dragon Hunter rank. Maybe sure, you could get the campaign buyout get 100 rank like we did here. This is again the preview test server. I wouldn't personally buy it out because I've already got Dragon Hunter rank 100. But these days it can be a struggle to find people to do dragon hunts. And so you can now more reliably do instead your Dragonflight. I just would hope they would actually consider adding Dragon Hunter rank whenever you kill a Dragonflight dragon, especially since this is an older campaign. But I can see why they might not do that and just want people to buy Zen to get the buyout. You can see the buyout just here, Dragon Slayer, and they would charge you 2,000 Zen without a discount. And then you could also buy these dragon parts. Very nice that they add them as just a guaranteed reward now. But yeah, people can't skip that with just spending Zen if they really wanted to. But still, I would appreciate if they added Dragon Hunter ranks based on how many dragons you killed, unlocking that mythic gear, and that these Dragonflight dragons would count toward it, rather than having to actually do your ancient dragons. But overall, some decent updates. Still not sure if it will motivate me personally to do Dragonflight, but it can definitely be a good thing for guilds to organize for newer players. And again, it shouldn't take a lot of time, especially if you don't coordinate much and you just go and kill like one of the dragons. It does cost you a little bit to start it. You need some guild marks here, but it should be much easier these days to actually get guild marks. You can see you need 2,500 and you need 5 players within the instance to begin it too. Ultimately, thanks for watching. A special thank you to all these channel members, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.